Hello and welcome to the 2022 NBA Draft. Miami Heat fans, it's your pick, 27th pick. We, in our mock draft, Colin have them taking EJ Liddell, which I think makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I think he's the best player right now that can contribute to winning. I mean, you guys just got rid of, oh my goodness, I forget about everybody. 6'7" forward, shoots threes, defensive player, used to be on the Rockets. PJ Tucker, thank you. I was thinking PJ Washington for some reason. You get rid of PJ Tucker, you gotta kind of replace him. And I think EJ Liddell is a good guy to do that. And not only that, he can do things that PJ Tucker couldn't necessarily do. I mean, he can pass the ball a bit, very strong. He can play defense and he can kind of shoot. I mean, obviously he's not as good a shooter as PJ Tucker is, but he's the win now type of high floor player that I think the Heat need. And obviously he has his questions, right? I mean, his shot's kind of weird, it's a little flat. But the fact that he's improved so much from his junior year or his sophomore year to his junior year, I think is just, it speaks a lot to what he's able to do. But I think he's the pick for Miami here.
Yeah, and they've been tied up with Duncan Robinson money and Tyler Hero. I think this is a chance for them to replace PJ Tucker, not in a direct way like you said, but in maybe a different way. And EJ Liddell has maybe different upsides than PJ Tucker does, obviously. So I like the pick. I'm just looking at different players they could potentially draft.
I mean, you could get Ty Washington if you want.
Yeah, you could get Ty Washington. Maybe it's just like a best player available type thing.
Yeah, type thing like that. I can't think of anything else.
Kendall Brown maybe as like an athletic defender.
Kendall Brown would be interesting.
I don't know. So you look at that, and let me make sure we're not missing anybody else here. Jaden Hardy still hasn't gone by one.
Trevor Keels, if you wanted a defensive type player.
Yeah. So I think that those type of players are what this team needs, because you have Kyle Lowry, you have Tyler here, you have Jeremy Butler, you have Bam.
And there's still a win now.
Here's a question. Here's a question I have.
Okay.
Why not? And I'm not going to exclude Ty Washington. You could throw Ty Washington in this. Why not Jaden Hardy? For scoring, a scoring punch, because we saw time after time the Heat just couldn't score. And I'm not saying Jaden Hardy's going to step in the league and be able to score, but you're talking about a guy who has the potential.
No, I like Jaden Hardy here because
off the dribble,
it's almost like Duncan Robinson insurance. Obviously, he's a great three-point shooter, but it's all him exploiting in the playoffs. I mean, he's unplayable.
And obviously, Jaden Hardy would have to improve tremendously on the defense.
Right, but he would add things that Duncan Robinson couldn't. Inside scoring. You know, he's not just a shooter. I mean, he does a lot of things. He has a bag, exactly. So, you kind of trade off that, and it's like, can't be much worse of a defender than Duncan Robinson, to be honest. So, although he's a great shooter, playoffs is the question for this team. So I think both of those picks are good. Jaden Hardy is interesting because I didn't think about that or think he'd be available here.
Just another name to throw out there. I still like Ty Washington though. I think
I do
he's
like
an outside trade.
As part of a trade to be finalized later, the Philadelphia 76ers are trading to the Memphis Grizzlies the draft rights to David Roddy.
This should be required to be done beforehand.
It's like one of those Zoom meetings that could have been email.
Yeah, they put on the hat for the other team and everything.
The Miami Heat select Nikola Jovic from
the drafting stash.
Serbia.
I hate that pick.
Well, look at it this way: were they going to get anybody that they could play next year?
Maybe, yeah.
Nikola Jovic.
I think EJ Liddell had a chance.
EJ Liddell. I think Jaden Hardy, if you buy his scoring, yes.
Okay.
Who's your backup point guard right now for
I think, well, you have Tyler Hero slide in there at times. You have Gabe Vincent.
Oh, Gabe Vincent, okay. Never mind.
Very good. So I think this is just a player that they're not going to expect anything from for a couple of years while they try to make this push. And in 2 years, when Jimmy Butler's 36, 37 years old, and they're like, all right, we've reached the end of this, here comes Nikola Jovic.
I hate when they set the versatility thing down.
Every single time.
Scout players.
Every single time they have versatility.
Yeah, no.
I mean, now, when Jimmy Butler then fades out, then here comes Nikola Jovic, and he's the MVP of the league in 3 years. How about that?
Nikola Jovic, Nikola Jokic. Nikola's is the MVP 6 times in the last 10 years. Wow.
There you go.
No, I mean, if you think of it that way, yeah, I guess you're right. You can't expect a player that you draft this late to contribute. I think EJ Liddell would have been a really good pick here, just because he fills a hole. But with that being said, I think that Nikola Jovic, and I don't think either of us were really high on him. Nikola
Nope,
Jovic.
I had him 35 in my
Yeah, I think I have him like 28 or 29.
Serbians are pretty good though at basketball. I don't know if you knew that.
I do. Thank you. I can see that right there.
Shout out to Pedro.
But he can kind of turn into that, Danilo Gallinari type player. I mean, that's kind of my comp with him. I don't think he's he doesn't really have athleticism to him. He's kind of heavy-footed.
Yeah.
But if he can develop that shot in the shot creation and kind of be a little bit more crafty, I think he's able to develop.
Yeah, I don't have too much more to add to that. I'm not incredibly high on him. 19 years old. I mean, maybe he pans out, but I think this is a future pick, and I don't think the Heat fans can be thrilled and can't be mad at this. I think you're just like, all right. Because I was in this position as a Spurs fan for a lot of years, where they went and took. I don't even remember the player's name. But they took a guy, a drafting stats, and you're just like, all right,
yeah.
Because we're in like the championship race, we're in all this. I don't know if it's gonna work out, but that's
you never hear from him again.
Yeah,
so.
exactly. So, good pick. I mean, reasonable pick, I guess. But yeah, we'll talk to you later.